Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coldborough Farm, where today I'm going to do a bit of a tutorial. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm going to show you exactly how to get really nice looking tram lines on your map. I'm going to show you half of it, the other half will have to come later on by necessity, basically. Very good. The fill type is set correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse up and just top up the sprayer here. I'm using the Massey for this just because this is the one I'm most likely going to use for the tractor I'm most likely going to use for the vast majority of the tramline work. So you'll need three things. Number one, you will need a sprayer. This is particularly useful with soil mods, so you'll need a sprayer. Any sprayer will do. You can use a fertilizer spreader. I just prefer using sprayers for this. Also, as a disclaimer, I will be working outside the cab to do this. You'll see why in a little while. You'll also need Courseplay. That is very necessary. And the third thing you will need is over in here. You will need a subsoiler, much like the Garand 2-tooth subsoiler I have here on this map. You can see this has been tested already. Actually on field 9, bizarrely enough. So what you need to do is you need to get your fertilizer, any fertilizer, herbicide, whatever you want to spray. You need to get that loaded in. Then you can see I'm just after finishing a stream here, so the map is a bit messy. I have finished all the ploughing over here, so I got another layer of lime down. I'm going to double lime. Just unfold the sprayer here. Now, unfortunately, I got to do it like this because the sprayer arms have collisions. Actually, can I do this? Now, the reason I'm doing this out of cab is, again, the sprayer arms have collisions. I need to work out. I need to be careful about how far away they are from the. I can actually do this first bit in cab. I need to be careful about how far away they are from the hedges. So you start your course recording like that. Turn on your sprayer. You also need, ideally speaking, you'll need GPS mod as well. I forgot to mention that. Start your sprayer, and you just go around. You start off spraying a headland. While I'm doing this, I'm going to get GPS set up. That should do nicely. I think this alignment is actually set up for this field as well. So you can see I'm laying down a course that is just a headland, and I am spraying at the same time. You can do it without spraying. I sometimes have to do that if for example I run out of spray in the sprayer. I will just continue on as if I am still spraying, but obviously not putting anything down. The corners I always find are the hardest bits, so the corners will always, for me at least, look a bit messy, which is a shame. And you know, there is a reason I'm doing the headland first, by the way. There is a very legitimate reason. It is I'm laying down tire tracks, and sorry, I just got a tweet there. I'm laying down tire tracks and the outer course. Now this is going to be very useful later. This is a preliminary thing you do if you want realistic looking headlands. I don't know if this is how it's done in reality, but this is the most realistic way I can figure in the game. I also need to update my real terrain. I have updated soil mod to the newest release version, I guess. The newest dev version, v 401.0111 dev, and that just allows me to refill PK at the normal refill points. It fixes a few issues that soil mod did have. I think I hit a hedge there, which isn't exactly ideal. And the joy of using this kind of sprayer, the in-game Amazon sprayer does the same thing, is you can kind of just look out of the cab immediately and see, oh, I'm, you know, on the edge, or I'm a bit far from the edge of the field, I'm, you know, overspraying a bit. You know, you can get a really good idea straight away. And this field is actually a good example because I'm going to be needing to do something a bit odd here. This is a really good example of how to get headlands in. Because I need to use some unorthodox methods, shall we say. Well, no, some orthodox methods, just in an unusual way. In an unusual field-specific way. Is probably the best way of putting it. I will actually run out of spray on this field, just looking at it now. So I will be ghost spraying, as I call it, where I'm just driving around as if I'm spraying, but nothing is coming out of the sprayer. And the reason you do the headland first, number one, you're laying down wheel lines that you can see immediately. Number two, actually it's all about the wheel lines and the line of the wheels that you can see. Because what you'll be doing next is, for the most part, you'll be trying to hit those lines exactly. Like up here, I'm going to try and nail the lines that I laid down as I entered the field, and this is going to be a bit awkward because there are several sets. Now luckily, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect right here. And there we go. I'm just going to turn off the sprayer and save some spray. Keep the speed down just so that it's controllable. And as you can see, I am more or less perfectly in the wheel lanes. Somebody's at the door, but I'm not going to answer because I'm busy. You know, I'm more or less in the wheel lanes. In fact, I am perfectly following them at present. And I'm going to use this as a first lane here. So I'll come back and get that little corner later on. I won't ever use this for spraying, and I just open up GPS, set it to go, let it do its thing, and about... No, I wanted to keep that on, nuts. Just going to pause the course real quick and fix that minor underspray. And resume the course. Just disable GPS to bring it in here. Disable the spraying temporarily. And this is this is an awkward one because you have to then kind of make a wide turn. I've probably overdone this. But that'll show up in the tram lines later on. You can see that it is... You can see where the tram lines are going to be. That is a bit too wide. It doesn't matter too much, but it is too wide. I've overdone that. But you can see from the lines where the tram lines will be. Just disable GPS again. Get into the lanes. And bring it around. Like that. And that's a bit of a hot mess, but it'll do. Yeah, that's a very hot mess. I may have to re-record this course, but all you do is you lay out a headland, and this is going to be probably the entire episode. Lay out your headland, and then you just hook into it, and you can see already that you're going to get nice straight lines going up your field, which is pretty much what you want from a tram line. And just leaving the tractor essentially guide itself in here, and I'm going to try a bit of a different method to hook into this one. So I'm going to turn early and turn tight and turn GPS on now. You could hear that I was spraying but doing nothing, and that's not ideal, but it is kind of better. Unfortunately with tight angles it does get very awkward. Ideally you want to have a straight line and a straight line, but you know, you'll get the same effect. You'll get nice, pretty tram lines that... the only reason I use them is because it looks better. It does take away from your crop yield, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately, it is realistic. You don't get crops where there are tram lines. And then later on you can... the reason I'm still going with this is because I do need to spray this field with PK. It's not just an aesthetic thing that I've chosen PK, so it kind of... Yeah, it's not just that I've chosen PK for the sake of choosing PK. I actually do need to... Or I do want to spray this field with PK, so... it's great. And the reason I chose to... Or the reason I use a sprayer is because it gives you a very, very nice indication of what you've done already. Especially in soil mod. Obviously in the default game you can use anything, it'll give you this very nice demarcation with the darkness. And it does stand out very well on ploughed ground. The issue is that I've got real terrain in, and that does tend to cause a couple of issues with Courseplay on ploughed ground. Ideally you'd want the ground to be cultivated or seeded to give a near perfect course for what you're going to be doing. And oh dear, is this going to be a really awkward one? This looks like it could be very awkward. So I'm going to hook in there, turn off the sprayer. Yes, it's going to be very awkward because I'm going to be this is one I haven't ever tried before, so I'm just going to crawl it around. I've never tried to do something like this before where it's deciding it wants to try and turn into a corner. This could easily screw Courseplay up that very tight turn. I may have to run a test. Although it does look okay to me. I mean, really all you're looking for with tram lines is an outline of the field somehow, and then lines going up and down. And that's precisely what you get with this method. The reason that I say use your sprayer for this instead of just choose a random width and go GPSing it is because it actually works in your favor. Because what you can do is you can set down tram lines, and if you decide, oh, I need to spread, we'll say, PK, you can come out with your sprayer and spray your crops following the tram lines. It's particularly useful once the crops are grown up a bit, because what it does is the subsoiler I have, at least, your experience with different subsoilers may vary, but the one I have just cultivates the ground, so you get the cultivated texture and the seeded texture, and it's all pretty much identical in terms of real terrain, so you get a nice little indication of what's going on, and that's pretty much what I was going for. Remember I said you want your lines to be straight on at kind of 90 degrees? That's why, because you get the lovely little... Okay, now I'm ghost spraying. I've run out of spray. I'll come back later on and spray this. You get the nice little loop going on, as opposed to the hot mess going on like here. It just looks... There's no functional purpose to it. Aesthetically speaking, it just looks better. And here I'm gonna have to have two tram lines very close to each other, if not intersecting. That's not exactly ideal. The reason I'm still going slowly is just so there's no weird wobbles from real terrain. Essentially. And this looks like it'll get the nice little loop as well. Yep. And of course, with different sprayers, you'll get different sized loops. This sprayer is about, what, 12 to 16 meters? 16 meters. So these loops are about 16, these lines are about 16 meters apart every time. And here's where the fun begins. Because now we've cut off this area of the field down here. We are now pretty much exclusively working in this area, but we need to finish Coursplaying that area down there as well. So what we're going to do is, and I'm coming up with this on the fly, I will admit, I'm coming up with some of these things on the fly. What we're going to do is we're going to Courseplay this top area first, and hopefully we'll end up down at the bottom of the field down by this house when we've Coursplayed this out. Because then we can just follow the lines around. and that's the plan at least, or that's the hope. And you can see now with the wheel lanes in, and this is a really nice feature of FS15. You can see what the tram lines will roughly look like, and to be quite honest, with this map and this sprayer, the specific combination, I'm really quite happy with how they're looking so far. Now obviously with different sprayers you'll want to be turning at different locks. This one just happens to require full lock. It looks, oh my god, is going to go perfectly. This is actually going to go perfectly according to plan right here, because what we're going to have to do is go down and we'll follow the lanes around the little cutting over there, and we're going to just go like this, hook into the wheel lanes and let GPS steer out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna call that close enough. There is a bit over here that's gonna be missed for tram lines, but I would end up having to be so close to this this Courseplay line and this tram line that it would just look awful. It would just kill like half the crop in that area. So I'm kind of making an executive decision to not tramline that up. And this is kind of finicky at times, because you do want to try and keep perfectly within the wheel tracks. And you know, this is one of the few situations where I will say be outside of the cab regardless of how realistic you want to play, because this is just setting up for something that looks a lot more realistic than the game can give you by default. And you can see now that the line will line up. Okay, hopefully most of that didn't go away. I've misclicked. So if it did go away, if I've managed to lose like the better part of 20 minutes of video, I'm gonna just kind of give a quick overview of what you may have missed. Because I did accidentally just crash fraps by clicking on the wrong screen because I wasn't paying attention enough. So this is a very simple way of laying good tram lines. You'll notice them out of cab. It's so that I can hook up with the wheel lines a bit easier. What you do first is you lay down. You'll need Courseplay, GPS, and a sprayer of your choice. They're the three mods you'll need. Or the three things you'll need. The sprayer doesn't necessarily have to be a mod. You can use the in-game Amazon sprayer. You can use literally any sprayer you like. Or you can use a normal fertilizer sprayer, but GPS and Courseplay are pretty much requirements for this. You'll also need a 2-prong subsoiler, which I'll show you later. And the way you get really, really nice tram lines is, I may just re-record this entire thing on a different field at a later time, as I've screwed up. That'll do, kind of. Is you start off by just doing a headland. You can see I was spraying and I've run out of spray, so I'm just kind of ghost spraying. You spray your headland and then just do the uppy downy lines, hooking into the headland lines. It's really helpful to be out of cab because you can see and actually at higher graphics settings, because you can see the wheel lines that you've been leaving. And this is where it gets really complicated, because this is going to be cultivated 3 separate times, and I'm now trying to get, the reason I'm going like 7 kilometers an hour is because I'm intentionally going back up along the sidelines here, because I don't mind the headland lane getting a bit ruined. I honestly don't. And what you'll get is if you look at, I'm just going to stop here for a second, if you look at the wheel lines on the field, you can see where the headland, or where the tram lines, I keep saying headland by mistake, where the tram lines roughly speaking will be. I could exit there, but I'm actually going to go up and exit into the main yard, because that's going to be the most convenient place to end the course. Because, as a fun little thing, if I ended at the main yard I can access more fields than I could if I ended at the side entrance to the field. Yes, I could get a better entrance and exit way, but it wouldn't necessarily look as good. And this is something that a lot of people don't seem to know, because when I was playing on Nuston, and obviously this video is all out of character, when I was playing on Nuston, a lot of people asked, oh, how did you get headlands that looked that good? I used Courseplay and just get them out of the field like that. Stop the course, record, you can see that it kind of looks nice. And what I'll do is I'll call this Field 9 Triton 500. Call that Triton 5000, that'll do. I can close the course. Actually, I want to reopen the course, because I can do something really fun now. I can actually send the Massey Ferguson off on the course. I can hop back into the cab as well. So I can give a little demonstration of what's going to happen, and then I'll check if I ruined the video. I will need to go back in with the sprayer later on today. I will do it off camera. Need to go in with the sprayer and just clean up and finish off the field. But if I set the Massey off now, and it's best to use the tractor that you're going to be actually using on the course, just so that Courseplay doesn't do anything funky on you, because that can happen. Not gonna lie, Courseplay can do some funky stuff at times. That's in fieldwork mode, yes. Start at first waypoint and drive the course. So we'll hop out now. Massey's gonna head into the field and start laying down tram lines. You can see that it's not perfect. This is a farm sim issue, but it is laying down tram lines in the ploughed ground. The reason I'm allowing it to do this is because I am going to cultivate the PK and the lime in anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. All that'll really happen is I'll be cultivating the same area twice. So this guy is going to go around and follow the course precisely as it's laid out. And what you'll get in the end is there will be areas like this where it's just cultivated up everything. There will be areas where there's very little cultivation done, like there could be a spot or two along here. There's another area where it's cultivated up everything. Unfortunately, that's just an issue with Farm Sim, where the work areas overlap, and there's an issue with the game coding and collision detection. And then here, like, you've got a very thin line on the left and a very thick one on the right. Corners can be a bit funky at times, I will admit. But that seems very fast still. That's actually excessively fast. So if I set the field speed to 7 kilometers an hour, it's going to go to... Actually set the turn speed to 7 as well, and the street speed, maximum speed, to 7, 7. So it's just going to crawl around at 7 kilometers an hour, which, while it looks relatively stupid, yes, is, and I know that in real life you wouldn't go around in a field with a subsoiler to lay down tram lines. You'd have it set up in the seeder or whatnot. This is the best way to do it in Farm Sim, I think. It gives you really nice, reliable tram lines every time they're the same. You can follow them later on, and I mean, if you look, they're more or less following the track of the wheels. So obviously I'm going to have to come in with the New Holland or something and just spray places like here. There's a place up there somewhere, and this quite large section of the field with PK still, but the intention of the video today was basically just a tutorial and a bit of education on how to get really nice looking tram lines. Now, I know it's quite late in the game cycle and FS17 is coming out soon, but some conversions of these things won't go amiss. Modding docks are expected earlier for FS17. They're expected to be better than FS15's modding docks and a lot earlier in the game cycle. So we can expect to see mods like Soil Mod a bit sooner, hopefully. Courseplay can be fully integrated a bit sooner, and you can see that looks genuinely good right there. And it does work. It does work at its best with the terrain detail angle mod in it. As you can see, I made a bit of a hames of the ploughing for the most part. I'm not good at ploughing, okay? Now this guy's just going to keep going until either he finishes his job or I tell him to stop. I think I'll go Courseplay set so it doesn't cost me money. That's by choice, because Courseplay is only going to be used as tramlines. It's only going to be used to set down tramlines. The subsoiler itself is going to cost me money, as is the tractor, obviously. But the tractor will be used for other purposes. The subsoiler is literally just for laying tramlines. That is, its sole purpose in life is to cut tramlines for me. And they're just for kind of added realism. Now most of the tram lines I will do off camera. I'll just do some. I'll probably hop in the moor and like cut the field edges or something while there's a tractor in the field cutting tram lines. Because I will try and keep it at a relatively low speed. Sometimes if you set a tractor off on a course at a high speed, it does funky stuff that I don't want happening. Hopefully I won't need to re-record this video. I'm going to end a bit earlier than probably I should, because I need to check if the video actually exists, and if it doesn't I'll have to find a different field to course up. I think field 2 needs to be sprayed yet. Hopefully field 2 needs to be sprayed yet. Does field 2 need to be sprayed yet? Okay, so if all else fails I can use field 2. So hopefully you'll be seeing this. I probably will use this ending, maybe. But probably not. And assuming this video goes out, which you may never see the light. It may never see the light of day. Thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe. And tram lines are fun, yo.